Hello, Beyond Duality on PS4, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my opinions on Warframe. Currently, this game is not on my PS4's hard drive anymore. I deleted the game because I stopped playing it and I needed more space. And this video is going to kind of talk about some of the reasons why I stopped playing this game. Now, first of all, just to give you kind of an overview of why I stopped playing this game. The reason why I stopped playing is because of the content. There's nothing for me to really do in this game after pretty much unlocking all the Warframes, all the weapons that I actually care to unlock, which aren't just getting mastery fodder and just going to Draco and just standing there until it gets to 30. I actually leveled up every single weapon that I thought was interesting and tried them out. And after doing all that, there's not much for me to look forward to play this game, so I stopped playing it. The content updates to this game just consist of a new Warframe, new weapons, some new skins, and a prime Warframe, a prime version of a Warframe, which doesn't add anything to the game at all. It just dilutes the drop tables in the void, which is probably not a problem anymore because of the new update. I haven't played it because of course I'm a PS4 player, but that's how it currently is for me. The drop tables just get diluted, and when you do actually spend all that time grinding for a Warframe and you finally get it, it's the exact same thing with the slightly different stats and a different skin. You're pretty much just playing for a different skin. So the new content that they add to the game does not appeal to me because it doesn't actually change the things that are wrong with this game. Now let me talk more about the game. The game, of course, I'm not even gonna really explain just everything about this game, because I'm assuming that people that watch this video already know, are experienced with the game, and they know everything that I'm talking about. The missions in this game, they're pretty much just copy and paste. I mean, you have three factions: the Grenier, the Infested, and the Corpus. Well, you could actually say four. You could add the Sentients to that list. And pretty much these enemies are not too much different. The reason why is because of the AI. The AI, what the enemy does when you encounter them is mostly they're just walking around in circles, like literally just walking around in circles, not really doing anything until they spot you. Then they'll turn around, start shooting at you, miss like 70% of the shots they shoot, and then probably hide behind cover the rest of the time if they're not still just standing there in that same spot just shooting at you and missing, unless they have a hit scan weapon, of course. It's the same for the Corpus and Grenier. The Infested are actually, to me, the most fun to fight against because they actually spend the most time trying to attack you. They're constantly running at you, so there's always a chance that you can get killed by Infested, unless of course you're standing on top of a crate or something. But yeah, the enemies, there's a real problem with the AI. It's pretty bad because they don't actually do anything. It's one of the reasons why this game, to me, there's nothing about this game that really takes skill. I mean, people complain in the community, and there's two separate aspects of the community. There's the community that goes in the forums and they type up essays, and then you check how much time they spent in the game, and sometimes it's not a lot. Sometimes there's people who they have spent a lot of time in the game and there's nothing really else for them to do besides just go to the forums and that's pretty much the only interaction they have with other players in the game. It's just sitting there and typing on the forums. And then there's people who are playing the game. There's lots of people that play the game, of course, because it's a free-to-play game, but they don't visit the forums, they don't say anything. Sometimes they don't even bother to type and read in chat. They just play the game, and they just, once they get off the game, that's it. There's no more interaction with the game outside of actually playing it. And I'm kind of like in the latter half. I don't think I've ever even posted on the forums, but I played this game for almost 2,000 hours. So I'm one of those people. And of course, there's also people who they've played the game for a really long time, and since there's nothing for them to really do, but I guess they don't really have anywhere else to go because they're kind of addicted to Warframe, they just sit in the chats on the game, and just mostly, like almost every day you can find them in the chat talking about something that has nothing to do with the game. So there's also those type of people. Now there's people on that play this game, or I'm not sure if they actually do play the game, but they cry out for changes in the game in the hopes that this game will become more engaging, challenging, will take more skill, or something along those lines, whatever they're thinking about. For example, there's the Draco issue. It's always been an issue. Draco, that map isn't the first of its kind. We all know it as a place where you go to level up your Warframe. It takes probably like 30 minutes or like 2 to 3 waves, maybe 4, to rank up anything from rank 0 to rank 30. Just one and done. It's done. You get it to 30, and if it's something you actually planned on using, you just add the mods to it, maybe format it and go back again, or you throw it away because it was mastery fodder and you were never going to use it anyways. And there's people that have a problem with that, because there's people that want to just level up mastery fodder just to get that mastery rank up, just so they can say, oh, look at my mastery rank, when mastery rank doesn't mean anything. Or there's people who are trying to raise their mastery rank so they can unlock stuff that's in the clan dojo, or weapons that are mastery locked in the market. So that's one reason. Those are the reasons why people actually go to Draco, besides them using formats on their character so they can add more mods. And the reason why people, they get vocal about it, is because they feel like these players are lazy because they found a more efficient way to level up, besides just going to some mission type they don't even care to play just to level up a character or a weapon or whatever they're doing, and they would take way longer doing it than they actually would spending the 30 minutes on Draco. And why would somebody want to do that? We've played these same missions hundreds, thousands of times, and they're boring for the reasons I just explained about the enemies. The enemies don't provide any challenge unless they're scaled up, which at that point they're gonna be one-shotting you if you're not moving, for like jumping around every 5 seconds, or if you don't have a crowd control ability. So they don't provide a challenge. And a way that people want the game to provide a challenge is by nerfing the abilities of the Warframe, so that you have less ways to mitigate the damage, when in reality there needs to be a change to the enemies themselves and enemy scaling, instead of actual just nerfs to Warframes. Because one thing about this game is, the mentality of this game is, you're kind of like a bounty hunter. There's, okay, I'm playing this because I'm going to get this specific reward. There's no other reason that I'm playing this mission except to get this specific reward. I'm not playing this mission type because it's fun. Well, some people do play endless mission types because it allows you to just, it's basically just like an endless arena where you just push your Warframe to the maximum efficiency to see how far you can go. But For the most part, we're playing for awards, we're playing for resources, we're playing for mods, we're playing for parts, so that we can go into the foundry and build warframes that we want to use, weapons we want to use, so we can go back and do the same exact thing until the devs release another warframe or another weapon. And I don't see why people complain about people being able to go through that process faster. I mean, I guess they could say it's unengaging, but is there anything in this game that's really engaging? I mean, they added nullifiers to kind of counter the powers of warframes, but it doesn't really change anything. As far as like me saying this game doesn't really take much skill, I can pretty much do almost anything, the majority of the mission types, solo by myself without any problem. It doesn't matter what level they are, as long as I bring the right setup, which it may be what some people call cheesy. I can do it, and there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do it, because I put in the time to actually, I guess, form of the character and max out mods, which takes just so long. It's just so much of a grind that why shouldn't I be able to do this stuff? This game is not balanced. I feel as if there shouldn't be like such an effort to make it balanced, because that's what makes it fun. There's weapons. You have a choice of what weapon you can use, and some people, they're always going to use the most powerful weapon they can possibly use, regardless of whether they like it or not, or you know, where they think it looks cool or whatever, just because it's the most efficient thing to do. And they want to experience all the content in the game, which is not just grinding for resources. That's not really why people get on this game. They get on the game so they can experience the warframes, the weapons. Just grinding the content is kind of like a pathway just to do that. We pretty much grind to have fun, and some people have fun while grinding and some people don't have fun while grinding. I mean, me personally, I don't mind some of the grind on here, but there's just some things I'm just not gonna do. Like when they release a new Prime Warframe, I'm not gonna go look for it, because 9 times out of 10 is gonna involve me playing some of the same missions over and over, which of course, apparently in update 19 that has changed, which we don't have the update yet on PlayStation 4, but that has what the game has consisted of so far. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the exact same way in update 19. I mean, you don't have to get void keys, but there's this new system where you just blah blah blah. It's pretty much they change it from one thing to the other, and eventually it's going to get boring. When, as I've seen some users suggest, why don't they just increase the drop rates of the Prime stuff instead of just scrapping the whole void thing completely? But we pretty much play to grind, and the grind was really boring. It would consist of me going to some mission, playing it for hours upon hours, probably never even getting what I wanted, and then just getting off just to get back on the next day just to do the same thing again. And it's like that because of the RNG. But let's compare it to other games. For example, this game gets compared a lot to Destiny, and I guess in my opinion, this like RNG is just not like a good like feature in games at all. It's like something that a lot of games like are trying to implement, and like today's like modern game development, there's just a lot of games that are trying to be RPGs mixed with MMOs mixed with something else, and they're just all basically they have the same formula, and it's just consistent of stuff that players don't enjoy. I mean, a lot of players ask for the same thing over and over. I get that. I mean, for example, there's people, they always want a loot system in the game, which this game has, a crafting system, which this game has, and they ask for zombies and just other just boring stuff that the market is oversaturated with right now. Almost every game has this stuff that I just mentioned, and we just need some more variety. So this grinding process got extremely boring to me, and the rewards were not worth it. What I would probably be grinding for is a mod that just makes my weapon probably even more overpowered than it already is, which they would probably just nerf in the future anyways, which would kind of make it all pointless. Or it would be like a prime Warframe or something. That there is an alternative way to get prime Warframes besides actually grinding. Guess what? You can pay real money for it, which I'm mostly a free-to-play player. Like, I don't really spend money on this game, and for the price that they ask for, $70-$80 just for a new character, and like, which is pretty much basically just a different skin, I'm not paying that much. Or I guess you could say, oh, they have the bonus platinum, but that really has no purpose to me. I pretty much have everything else in the game. The only thing you really need platinum for is Warframe slots, and I guess skins don't matter, but I've gotten almost every skin I have just from trading in the trade chat. So platinum is not really like something that I'm looking for. I'm not gonna pay $80 for a prime access pack, and I'm not gonna like give in to the hype of the trade chat, which is just another terrible thing in this game, the trade chat. I'm not just gonna go in the trade chat and give someone all my platinum just to play as this character. Eventually the prices go down. That's like a whole nother issue, which I can kind of talk about that now, the trade chat. Something else that it takes extremely, like now, it takes an extremely long amount of time just to make a small amount of platinum, in my opinion, because before they added the ability to trade prime parts, you could make a decent amount of platinum out of the trade chat. For example, you could trade like a rare mod for 15 platinum, maybe 20, compared to nowadays where people like they want like some of the rarest mods in the game for just 5 to 10 platinum. Like they're only, you might get 30 or something at best if it's something that's brand new that was just added to the game that people are like actively grinding for. And the reason why it's valued at such a high price is because of the RNG and the diluted loot table of them just adding more and more stuff to the game, and it being just based off luck just to get it. The trade chat is just really terrible. I mean, people don't, in my opinion, on the way it is on PS4, I don't feel like what people offer you for what you have is not worth even trading it. I'd rather just keep it or trade it in for ducats, which I'm glad that the void trader is in the game, because it actually gives me a place to put all the worthless junk I collect. It actually gives it some value. Besides, I used to just throw it away because I could spend hours upon hours in a void mission waiting for this drop, again going to trade chat, and someone basically just wants it for almost free. And then when I offer a price for it, someone offers it for an even lower price. So I pretty much just, I barely get anything for the hours of work I put in. So I just don't even trade, because it's just not worth it to me to trade with other players. Moving on to other topics, there's clans. I myself started a clan when the game first came out, and it just, clans to me are pretty much worthless. I mean, it's just a way to kind of identify like a group of your friends and you have a dojo. That's pretty much the only important part of a clan, is just having a dojo so you can unlock more of the content in the game. Other than that, there's no reason to be in a clan at all. It's just mostly just something that's optional that doesn't really add anything to the game. And my experience on PS4, there's lots of gigantic mountain moon clans or storm clans or whatever, but most of the players are inactive. You get into one of these clans and there's cliques inside of the clan already, so you just go, there's people, you ask for help, nobody wants to help you because, like I said before, it's kind of like a bounty hunter mentality. If I'm not getting anything out of it, I'm not helping you unless I'm really bored and I have nothing better to do, which actually that was what that was the state I was in before I stopped playing this game. I just had nothing to do, so I would just go help other people. Simply just because of the fact that I had nothing better to do. Like, I used to like going into low-level missions and just being there with my overpowered Warframe because I know how it was, how slow the leveling up process is, and they just give you like extremely crappy weapons. And when you finally do get enough resources to get a new weapon, you have to wait like 12 hours to a day just to get it. So a lot of new players, they just stop playing at that point when they just realize how much of a grind it is. There is a lot of grind to this game, and I'm not saying that everything should just be handed to you, but it's not a way to get new players into the game. There's better ways to do it. For example, another game I play is Final Fantasy 14 is an MMO. Pretty much just a standard MMO, and it does have RNG, but it's not on the extreme level. I've never played anything as extreme as Warframe, where the loot is just so, it just seems so unobtainable until you actually get it. And then once you do you actually want to go back and try those missions again that you spent all those hours in? No, you don't. It's just a tool to get what you want. Pretty much the only reason why the game is even set up like this is to get players to spend money on it. They just give up on trying to get something for free, and they eventually just go buy platinum so they can just actually try out the new thing that was added to the game that was just so hyped up. But it takes like forever to even actually experience this thing. And the market, it's kind of ridiculous how like the prices of things in the marketplace. Like, if you really think about it, 15 platinum is pretty much $1 in the real world. And for a starter Warframe that's not even all that good to be worth 75 platinum, which is $5 for a character here, or 300 platinum, $20 for a character, $20 just to play as one character. You could buy an entirely different game with $20. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And that's another thing, the starter Warframe, that's just a thing with the balance in general. Like, there's some things in this game that suck, and there's some things in this game that are really good, and the majority of players are going to use the thing that's really good instead of the thing that sucks. For example, there's no reason to not pick Excalibur as your starter Warframe. Mag, from my experience, is a good Warframe against Corpus. Against other enemies, she doesn't really have too many tools, and when you're just starting with the game, it's very hard to survive with Mag unless you start leveling up redirection. It's very hard. I don't think the Bolt, or I think the Bolt is one of the other starter things. I'm not sure because I haven't been paying attention to the changes of the new player experience that much, because I didn't have to go through it. Like, I had to go through it 3 years ago, and that was it. Loki, he's a good Warframe, but until you get the mods to actually utilize him, he just pretty much sucks. Or the weapons to utilize him, you need a good melee weapon. You need some good weapons to go along with Loki, and some good mods. Invisibility isn't really going to save you, especially with stuff like nullifiers in the game now. It's just, stuff like that is just kind of anti-new player. And then there's Bolt. He's a good Warframe when you have good mods, which are really hard to come by in the beginning of the game. They just give you extremely crappy stuff. And it can suck for new players. The balance in this game, my experience is I had a group of new players that I was playing with, and they really didn't like the game, so of course I recommended them to just try to get that mastery rank up really quickly so they could unlock more weapons that would help them enjoy the game more. And one of the weapons that they saw me using was the Tonkor, and I like the Tonkor because, I mean, it's a Tonkor. It's just an extremely good weapon overall. Destroys everything, and it lets you, it's just more efficient than any other weapon that I've mostly in my game. So they started using the Tonkor, and pretty much after that they had no reason to use anything else. Because the game doesn't encourage you to use anything like weaker weapons, except of course to boost mastery rank. So all in all, I think I've pretty much talked about all the reasons why I just don't play this game. I mean, I'm sure I talked about the content updates, which they don't really consist of anything that has any staying power. There's too many unfleshed out game modes, and that's another thing. They are constantly adding content that does not really improve the game, such as the Kavats, which are the cat companions. I mean, the cat companions, they're cool. It's a great idea. I'm glad there's something new in the game, but did they go back and rebalance Sentinels? No. Do people use Sentinels as much? No. Do people really use any Sentinel besides Carrier? No, they don't. Why? Because Sentinels, they're either dying instantly to upscaled enemies and not really doing anything besides following you and using their abilities once in a while, or unless you have the carrier, which is just picking up everything, or you can just have a Kubrao, which it can regenerate health. You can powers that regenerate health affected. It can survive way longer at the cost of you having to spend most of your resources on just keeping it actually alive, unless you have the incubator segment, which is just another grind. And I'm pretty sure Kavats are the most powerful thing around right now, which has made Sentinels and Kubraos even more obsolete, because a lot of people didn't even use Kubraos because of the grind that is required to keep them alive. They just rather just stick to Carrier, the simple and easy and convenient thing to use. There's a lot of unfleshed out game modes, and game modes that I'm just not really interested in. Like I don't think anybody was asking for Archwing. The reaction to Archwing when it first came out on the forums, a lot of people were, of course, how they react to everything, because they just say hype, 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 but they don't consider how this actually affects the game. Does anyone play Archwing now? Barely anyone plays Archwing. You would think that it would be one of the most popular game modes the way the community reacted when it was announced, but because it's just a game mode that's just largely ignored and needs more work, nobody plays it. And it's kind of the same with PvP. I don't really know anyone who plays PvP, and there's just a small amount of players who actually play the raid, which is played not because it's such a fun thing to do. It's played because you get a reward out of it that can either increase the power of your Warframe or give you a large amount of platinum in the long run. And it's also another reason why players don't really help other players, because they just have a mentality of there needs to be a reward for everything, when I mean, that's pretty much it. That's the mentality of the game. I don't really do much unless it can give me a reward. If it's not rewarding, if there's no reward for me on the game, then there's no point for me to play it. If there's not good content, there's no reason for me to play the game. I mean, I could just go on and on about this game, like about the alert system and the just terrible rewards you get from alerts, the syndicates, the focus system, the story and the lore. It's not all bad, but it's definitely not all good. But this was just like a general discussion, my opinions on the game, and I'm hoping to see a little bit of feedback, and maybe I'll make some more videos like this in the future. But this is all I really have to say for now. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about every single aspect of the game, because it could make this a really long video that not many people will want to sit through. So that's pretty much it, and I like to hear some commentary.